I thought you'd like that. I thought that up yesterday. I thought it'd be funny. I got a kick out of it. Well, slow start to the morning. Hey, coffee, you get into anything yet this session? It looks like we had some movement overnight. Any good trades or anything? Oh, okay, yeah. I was looking back around 1 a.m. Yeah. Yeah, I hear you. Oh God. Oh. Oh yeah. What kind of dog? A weenie? My mom's got one of them. Oh yeah. My mom's got a smooth red uh, wiener dog, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. Yeah. I like the. Is it a boy or a girl? The dash hound. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. My. They're fun dogs though. This one my mom has. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Sometimes they can get back problems when they're older, eh? So maybe. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this one mom's got. He's like 15 or 16 now. He's pretty old. Pretty blind. He can't hear much, but he still gets around. You'd come in. You'd think he's still a puppy, man. He runs, jumps, barks, and you don't got no teeth, no, no sight, no ears. Yeah. 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 Oh yeah. It's expensive, man. The teeth on the dash hounds, they get old and rotten. Cost a couple grand each tooth. They're not cheap, but whatever. Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you gotta watch. Teach them a bit of discipline or they'll just misbehave. Yeah. I thought that up yesterday. I'll probably change it, but oh god, I thought it'd be fun to have a coffee maker and a coffee killer. Maybe there'd be a coffee brewer somewhere. A bean picker. Yeah, he probably. I'm wondering. You don't have any snow there, but you know we do here, and that we're having the dash hound. Especially being a boy, he's when we get a deep snow, his thing drags in the snow. He'd be walking, you'll see footprints, and then you'll see a line. When it's too deep, he's dragging his thing around. I feel bad for the little guy. I couldn't imagine. First thing in the morning. Wow, I can't believe how slow it is. Holy. I haven't had a single trade really set up. At least one that I liked. This is funny, yeah. There was one shitty one, I didn't take it. Just slow. There's news today. More than yesterday, I think. What do we got? I'll just check. What are we on, Wednesday? For US, I don't know, MBA mortgage applications is 7. I don't know. That's low impact. ADP employment 815. International trades goods 830. PMI composite 945. ISM 10. Petroleum at 10:30. That's it. European PPI was at 5 a.m. British PMI 4:30. I don't know, yeah. One of those days. There was a pretty good pump in the morning yesterday in the markets. The tariffs were going to go on, so the market went down, and these deals are made. Now the tariffs are on hold. So it's all over the place. Hey, holy moly, where are you from, my friend? You're from Greece. Wow, that's pretty cool. I've never been, but as you can imagine, I've seen a lot of beautiful pictures and videos. So, then what time of day is it going to be where you are right now? So, okay, so early afternoon. Yeah. All right. Are you still short on oil? Looks like yesterday it was a bit whippy. It's starting to come down today, though. What's your time frame for that trade? Is it a little bit of a longer term trade? Longer term idea? Oh, okay. I'm interested. Who you with? Who you changing to? I got some of them Apex. Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, that makes sense. I was wondering because I knew you were using props, but you had that oil trade, and I was wondering how you were able to keep it but not close. Um, During the overnight, you usually can't hold to the next day on props. FTMO. So, well, cool. I don't. Do you know? I've looked at other props. Many of them they're reduced. Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. You got to be careful on those. The props can be good and bad. They're a bit tricky, but I mean, I went with Apex because they'll let you do 20 accounts, and I think without a bunch of accounts, it's kind of hard to. For me, it's kind of hard to make it worth it, or it's hard to take the right amount of risk on them. Do you know any that? How many do they let you have? How many accounts? See, I've heard of like what's the other big one around here? Top Step, but they'll only let you have like 3 or 4. So the thing is, unless you get their like highest account, but then the rules are they're a little bit harder to pass in a way. You need to make more money for the amount of drawdown, so usually the smaller accounts are a little bit easier to pass, but the thing is there's just not a lot there for money. Like Apex, the 50K, they call it the 50K account. Well, you only have a 2,500 drawdown, so in my eyes it's only a $2,500 account. Yeah, well, when you're trying to oh yeah, and it I almost feel bad because some people are like, well, yeah, it's a 50K account, I can risk 500 per trade because it's 1%, and no, no, no. Well, no. If if you can only lose $2,500 and the account's gone, you only have a $2,500 account. So to me, 1% is $25. So, and then if you look at it that way, it's like, well, what am I gonna make? That's like a couple micros or something, and I don't know. It's just without having a bunch of accounts, I don't think it's really worth it. The props? I do. Yeah. I mean, I have them. I got the copier. Um, but it's because I got 20 of them. Or 19, I guess. I thought I had 20 at one point. Yeah, it's only because I have that many that I think it's worth it. You know what I mean? Then I can trade a couple micros. If you have one, it's like, oh, well, and you risk like a 1% or even half a percent. It's like, okay, you're going to risk $12. Maybe you make 15 or 20. It's really hard to like feel like it's worth your time trading for that, but you make $20 on 20 accounts, well, there's $400. It seems a little bit more worth it. Plus, that's American dollars. Our Canadian dollars shit. So I mean, it's $400 American is like 600. Yeah, he's coming on, Mike. Hopefully he's not. I don't have him muted. Oh, I had him muted. Hey, I just unmuted you. Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, low risk. Yeah, I agree. I think I said before, I think they're like a happy middle ground where it's you got more skin in the game than you do like a demo account, but it's not like it's also not your real money per se, so you can kind of get rid of some of your emotions that you would have using like real hard-earned money. So I think it's a nice middle ground, especially for learning. But if you've been trading since the '80s like coffee, then you're used to it. Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's just the only thing that made Fast Track different was they was charging people 10 times more because they were just like, "Oh, you're going live right from day one," you know. And honestly, the only reason I didn't jump into Fast Track is because they didn't offer Ninja Trader at the time,
Oh,
and they never really could get Ninja Trader. Well, trade was it Tradeovate or wherever,
yeah,
the
Trade of Eight.
other company. You know, what I mean, they worked through. What was it? They never could get them to sign on. So anyway,
So you're with coffee with My Funded Futures? Is that what you said? Or
yes, I have 3 accounts
okay,
with my funded futures for the 150. You know what I mean?
the
Because
150.
that's
The
that's the
expert
largest
one.
you can get.
Are you talking about the expert?
Yes, yes. But you also have to realize, y'all, that like for example, I don't know how you uh well, I don't know what to call you now. Let's just go with Star Lord. Okay, like I don't I don't what was it I don't know how you set your like me I set up my so I have to be very careful of my entries, and I just set my take profits. So in other words, y'all, I want to know I'm like in the green no matter what, quickly if I can. You know what I'm talking about? So normally I will set like a three take profit. So it depends on what how much I'm risking. Maybe I should put it that way. So in other words, let's say I'm just doing 2 contracts. Well, usually I have one set to hit fairly quickly at either a 1-to-1 or a 1-to-2. You know what I mean? Risk reward. And what happens is even the other one when it hits, it's going to bring that stop up to say like break even plus 2 ticks or whatever. You know what I mean? Or however many
So
ticks I would need to break to at least cover my
hedging. You're just hedging.
basically, yes. Basically, yes.
Yeah.
So in other words, even if it turns against me, I'm trying to at least get enough, usually only maybe like $200. I'm just trying to get enough just to cover my, you
Yeah.
see what I'm saying?
Yeah. But
That way,
I
if at
think it's
least
a
if I
month.
hit take profit one, you know, because most times that runner could very well be, and even then, y'all, that's, I can move those stops and everything quite easily. You know what I mean? All that stuff
Mm.
can be moved. But anyway,
But but it isn't it a monthly subscription?
is
I
what
mean,
now?
Monthly subscription.
I think the expert
No,
one is
no,
monthly, so I don't know if it's.
no, 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 no. When you pass, you're done. See what I'm
Oh,
saying?
okay.
And
Okay.
now I think y'all, it's been a long time since I looked back and read.
Mm.
Okay, but I'm wanting to say I think that even during the up until because they don't like you to do news. I don't think. Can't remember in the expert, which I usually don't mess with news anyway because it can pop an account pretty quick if you're not sure. Um, but what was it?
Order submitted.
I want to say when you're in the stage where you're trying to get to funded, I don't think they're the same way. If you want to, unless they change that rule, I want to say I think that if so, in other words, I tell people like the only difference is you're going to spend a lot more and you're going to get a little bit less drawdown. Like I think it's 4,000 or 4,500 or something like that end of day drawdown for the accounts I have, for each account where I think you get maybe extra $500 or something still like that if you go with like one of their starter plans. You know what I mean? And it's a little bit less.
Yeah. Yeah. But as I'm
But
saying
I mean, all the
right
you're
now,
right. I want to say all the plans are that way. I think once you actually get to the
the
point where
expert.
you pass, the monthly fees go away.
But as I'm saying right now, the expert has only monthly subscription. I mean, for 150, 13, what? No. Yeah, it's $500 per month USD. So it doesn't have a one-time payment
Well,
right now.
it just no. Now keep in mind it's as long until you pass. I'll put it that way. So if it takes you 2 months to pass,
Ah,
it takes you 1 month to pass. See what I'm saying? When you pass, essentially that goes away.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
Because you have to hit the, I want to say on the accounts I have, I think it's like 12 grand. Maybe it's 9 grand. I can't remember now off the top of my head, y'all. Once you hit that, well, you know what I'm saying. Once you hit
Yeah, okay.
whatever
But
profit level is.
to be honest, it's not convenient for me because I'm not trying to hit the target on the first month,
Well, keep in mind the only reason, and I tell people the only reason I'm even using that one is because
Order
of the
filled.
way I trade,
And
and
not,
it works for me.
yeah, okay.
See what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah,
I tell people if you're new and you
yeah.
don't know what you're doing, honestly, to me, I would just go with Apex or whatever. Because to me, if you
Yeah,
pop that, what difference does it make? I mean, to me, I did the same thing you're doing. It's just back when I was doing it, I was using real money. That's the only difference because there wasn't prop firms back then. Just
okay, I get it.
Now, if that other group I'm in, a lot of times some of those are more experienced traders, and a lot of them sometimes they don't even keep up with. That's why they'll do several different firms. That way, if for whatever reason within that 1 week or 2 week or whatever the payout period is, I'm talking about, if they have off day and they can't, which to me that's how the prop firms win. You know what I mean? But like those guys, I've heard them say, "Oh, well, it messed up," and they said this consistency rule. I didn't, you know what I mean? So they wouldn't able to get a payout that period. Well, the money's still there. They can't take the money away. You know what I mean? But it's just now you have to wait till the next period. Anyway,
Yeah. Yeah, if you're experienced, I think you can go for what you were saying right now.
yeah,
And
that's
it
that's
fits
why
your
like
credit
me,
style actually.
that's why like me, I design or I try to design most all of my own stuff. You know, I have paid developers to do it. In fact, I'm paying one now. I mean, I'm hoping he'll get back with me by the end of this week and actually deliver that. But to do code,
Who did you?
to me, it's just I think of it as nothing more than just a cost of doing business.
Who do you got on the go for developer?
Do what now? It's just dude on Fiverr.
Oh, okay.
Usually, what I do on Fiverr is if I go to somebody that's like a tier 1 or tier 2, they're going to usually charge you enough. They know what they're doing. You know what I mean? They don't usually too much play. But if you because I do try new people. I don't mind if you have no reviews, that don't phase me. But what I'm going to do with somebody like that, you just have to know that that's going to be a sunken money cost, or what I consider a sunken money cost. So it's like, how much do you want to put into it? So like if I was doing stuff with TradeView, because that's what I've used so long, a lot of times like that same code that you'd see for the
Order filled.
pivot that I have, well, there's a thing in the code where there's a limitation for, it'll say like max vertical bars 10. What I would do is I would just take that out of the code, send it to them, talking about, and go, I don't know, I'm having something show up. Well, if they know enough about TradingView, I've had people message me back in 5 minutes and go, oh, well, there's a bug in the code that where you'll mean, you know, then I know they know what they're talking about. So I'm saying they study it enough and but if all of a sudden it's like 3 days later and they can't figure out how to fix it and I lost $50, or they're going, oh, let's switch this gig and here, let me make something else for you or whatever. You know, come on, I know you don't know what you're doing. Or to me, you don't study the platform enough to know what
Yeah.
the bugs are within the own platform to know. See what I'm saying? I mean, to me, it's as simple as making a test. And most people that are brand new, they'll do the job for $50 or $100 just to get the review because they're trying to get started. They're trying to get in the door. But that lets me know, okay, I don't need to mess with this person again. And honestly, you might find only one good person out of every, 8, 9, 10. I mean, it's just true because most people are jumping on. Oh, they're doing the same thing I do. Y'all, You think I'd go through and spend all day? No, I don't do that like I used to. I go on ChatGPT, you know what I mean, or Claude, and get them to
Yeah.
pump that junk out. You know what I'm talking about? And I've learned their weaknesses too. I mean, to me, and they're even getting better, but to me, where they have such weakness in trading view code is when you get into loops or uh I can't remember what word is now on the top of my head, but I mean, when you get into stuff like that, to me, they they're smart enough to be very dangerous. You have to be very, very careful.
Yeah. You should check
And
out
see, and
Deep
I've
Seek.
tried using them to switch over to Ninja, but there's such niceties in where I can use certain colors and just all kind of different stuff, where I try to go compile it in Ninja and it just doesn't work. And because I don't know, because I've worked with TradingView as long as I have, and I
Yeah.
know and that's where I tell people it just breaks down to knowing the subtleties. And I don't know how to put it other than that. That's where to me you need a human brain. It's just that simple.
Yeah, you should look into DeepSeek. It's like Chat GPT. You probably heard of it, but I've
Yeah.
seen
Oh yeah.
people put code into that, and it's actually worked out a little better. It's just kind of a little smarter for writing code. If you're ever in that situation, what language is PineScript? Do you know?
I can't remember off the top of my head. I want to say I thought it was just like Thinkorswim, where to me Thinkorswim should just went with a simple, like I think NinjaScript overall did. To me, NinjaScript really is nothing more than C sharp. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's C
But
sharp.
what was it? It's just they added certain little, but like Thinkorscript to me was nothing more than a bastardized version of Java, and was it Python or something another? I can't remember, but it
Don't.
was like they put their own little twist on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For the uh, uh, and to me, PineScript is no different. I can't remember what PineScript is based off of, but it's based off of something else too, and they just sort of put their own little version.
Yeah.
You know, that's why to me, I tell people to me, it's really nothing more than just strictly a charting platform. It, I just tell people you just have to know the pros and cons of what you're using. Because like I've had people go, oh, well, I'd like to look a year back. I was like, yeah, whoa. You don't get it. You can't look a year back because TradingView will only let you go so far back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just the way it's made. They can only give you so much data back. It's not like NinjaTrader where it's like, okay, let me download this data. You know what I mean? It don't work that way. I tell people, I said it's really built for right now. I mean, there's a lot of things that it definitely has its limitations too. I'll put it that way.
Yeah. Yeah. It's good for the general man, I think. Trading View. You
Ba
can get it on your
Basically, yes.
phone.
To me, it's very good for the general person. You know what I'm
Yeah.
talking about? But
Very
even
good.
like I tell people, me personally, I would not care to trade on it for the simple reason being is to me, they're very much bound by, let's say, for example, whatever broker integrates with them, they only have the right to give you what that broker decides they want to give you. See what I'm saying? So in other
Yeah.
words, like, if it could be as simple as flatten all button, if that broker decides, hey, nope, we don't want, well, guess what? You're not going to have it. That's why you
Oh,
might have
really?
somebody say, wait a second, whenever I was on here with TradingView, I could do this, or when I was on, and not TradingView, excuse me, with, what you call it, you know me, whatever broker. When I was on with this broker, I could do this, but this broker, I don't have that. Well, guess what? Because it's what the broker is offering them. So that's why to me is any type because I have tried it. You know what I mean? I've tried it, but to me it's all very, very scaled down. Very, very scaled down. You know what I mean? So in other words, yeah, you can do brackets, but it's not as detailed as Ninja where I can go, okay, I want, you know, three take profits and I want it to act,
Yeah.
automatically move this up to this, you know what I mean, at this time. No, it basically is going to throw a limit and you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. Of course. And I I guess TradingView doesn't have options for data feeds either, right? Because on Ninja you can have whatever broker you want, but you can also choose whatever data feed you want to run as
No,
well.
no, you're going to simply just pay for the
Oh yeah.
same CME data. You know what I mean? You're just going to pay for the same stuff you'd pay for to me if you went to a broker.
Yeah.
That's really the only difference. I mean, I tell people the only difference is like even Ninja, I don't pay for level 2. You know me, y'all. I literally use the data MFF gives me only
Yeah.
because I don't need all I need is top a book. And that's really all you're going to get. I tell people unless you use like the DOM or something like that, you know what I mean? That's the only reason to me you need level 2.
Yeah, and
I
you know
mean,
that's something I don't like. So for Apex data, they only give you one level, or they only give you the bid ask on the DOM. They don't show you anything else. So
mhm.
I use the DOM mostly for entries, not necessarily to read the market. But it would
Right.
be nice when a trade's setting up to see, hey, there's a big pile of orders under me to help me
Yeah,
go
yeah.
back up.
Well, that's why I tell people that's what bookmap and stuff. That's why I like my flow. I tell people to me it's nothing more than just a poor man's bookmap. I said because
Yeah,
all it can show you is what's happening right then. It can't
Ninja
show you what's out there. You know what I mean?
Ninja has
Or
a
like
kind of a book map too, eh? Like it'll show you like kind of the same stuff, not in the same way, but it'll put lines across the chart, darker for more orders, lighter.
hmm
You can yeah, it's got that. I never really used it, but yeah, I don't know.
But now to me, even the last couple of days, the more I've been digging into Ninja, I'm learning it very much has limitations too, and is very temperamental.
What
So
limitations just
I,
are
only
you
in
seeing?
that to me is very what I consider like Thinkorswim, where it's
Order
got what I
submitted.
consider long in the tooth. It's been around so long that to me, instead of trying to make the stuff better and make it work better for the user, you know what I mean? They're just more worried about profits. So, and like to me, I've seen add-ons, you know what I mean? And I can just look at the add-on and go, oh, okay, yeah, this is, where to me it seems like they would try to work with that developer and say, hey, let's integrate this because it will be 10 times better than, or you go to add in, just like I did yesterday, you go to add in a tool and it goes, no, this don't work. You know what I mean? And then you have to go look, say, why is it not working? And then you find out, oh, because, Microsoft OneDrive and it thinks the files are already there,
Oh yeah,
just little silly things like that. You know what I'm talking about? That to me, those are all things they can fix if they want to.
yeah.
Even the little stuff as far as like the windows where I told you, to me, you should be able to snap those windows easily in place without having to worry about overlap. I mean, to me, that's just, come on. That's the
Yeah,
overall functionality for what they need you to do is there. And that is to me is what most brokers are going to now. The same thing overall what Ninja did. That's why I tell most web brokers, you know what I mean, they're not like Thinkorswim anymore. You know what I'm talking about? They want to offer you these indicators and no, we don't know if we're going to let you bring in your own. You know what I mean? Or we don't know. Some do, some don't. I mean, but you
yeah,
get my drift. The whole idea is they just want you to be there to match, buy, and sell. That's what the hell they really want.
yeah. I do think in some ways Ninja kind of they leave it really open for developers to make and sell things, and I feel like they just want to be responsible for the base platform. And if you want certain add-ons, they kind of give the opportunity to people to make them and sell them.
Right.
You know
And
what I
and
mean?
I agree with you on that, but to me, where I see weakness is they and this is another thing where to me TradingView should have done the same thing. They should have basically put a store up there and said, hey, if you want to sell a, you know what I mean, or you want to put up a private whatever, you know what I mean, you know,
Yeah,
and even if somebody, they say, hey, we'll only take 5% or whatever, talking about, but it would be one centralized location everybody could go to find those. The problem with Ninja to me is there's no real centralized location. You see what I'm
yes,
saying?
yeah,
So if you're looking for something, to me, it's sort of tossed in the air whether or not you will really find it. I'll put it that way. You know, so that's one of the things that to me were like TradingView because I've seen good code come out. You know what I mean? But people lock it under, uh, you know, like it under whatever. You know what I'm talking about, And I always said what I wish TradeView would do is tell the developer, okay, you have a responsibility to the public. Either you have to keep this code up, you know what I mean? But if you abandon this code after X number of years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, whatever, we have the right to take it over and update it. And all of that can be automated. Come on. You know what I mean? An AI can update a code from 3 to 4. I mean, TradeView does it. You know what I mean? All you have to do is click a button. Like I said, now when you start going update it from 3 to say 6, that's a big problem, but just going from one model to the next. Anyway, just, that to me shows me you care about your consumer and your public.
Order filled.
Where to me, TradeView knows all they're doing is selling alerts. That's why you see alerts are tied to, you know what I mean? Because they know people use webhook on the alerts. That's that's why you notice there are different tiers and you get a different number of alerts to those tiers. So. Anyway.
Can I ask you something outside of this topic?
Yeah. Y'all, and just tell me shut up if I'm running off the mouth too much.
No. Did you finish? I don't know if you... Okay. So, is it really positive that FTMO, do you know FTMO?
The what now?
FTMO blockchain.
Oh, dude, that's crypto. No? I don't get into that.
No, it's not crypto.
Forex.
It's just, I think it's currently based in Europe. That's why I'm asking you,
No, I guess not.
Do you know Rwanda?
FTMO, you're saying?
Yep.
I'll, is that like a broker or?
I've heard the Forex guys using it.
Okay, see, I don't touch that either.
Me either.
No. I mean, do you know Rwanda?
No.
I wanted to ask if it is really positive that FTMO just acquired a broker for them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is it really positive or it's nothing? Like, for example, if for example, Funded Futures acquired the Tradeovate or TradeStation.
Oh, so you're saying FTMO acquired Rwanda or Owanda?
Yeah.
I gotcha.
Sorry for the...
Yeah, look, y'all, honestly, I don't keep up with the way a lot of people do. You know what I mean? I don't keep up with nearly, no. Like I had one dude get a hold of me and he was talking about this product and he was, oh, it's so great. I can't remember the name of it, but here's the problem. They won't let you have like one account. They've been around forever. And I was like, dude, really? I was like, what's really the point then? You know what I mean? Just, anyway, I was like, I don't like the 3 limit here either. I ain't saying I'm trying to be greedy. I really would wish they would at least do something at 5 or something like that. You know what I mean?
And
but
it's not even about greed. It's just about lowering your risk. If you can take 5 or 10 accounts, you can take way less risk on each account. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And make it worth it. So, yeah, it's not even about greed.
But I tell people, I said, I get why they're doing what they're doing because they're wanting to look at it as knowing they're getting reliable money. They would rather know that, okay, we're getting $200 or whatever, $500 or whatever day out of this guy than, you know what I mean? So, anyway.
Well, you know what? If the prop firms weren't greedy, they would set them up in a way where they get professional traders in, you know what I mean? And they could trade with them or take a cut from the profits. That's how they should be. But instead
I think they are already doing it.
Yeah, they do.
but not in a big percentage.
No, but the thing is, like Coffee was saying, that they foster it. They foster this gambling trading by making these 80% off and pass in one day and payouts. Like
Yeah.
they turn it into something that it shouldn't be, but they make more money that way, right?
Maybe they couldn't stand it otherwise, I guess.
Yeah.
Uh, you need to survive as a company, I guess.
There is a real prop firm out there called SMB Capital in New York, but they trade stocks, but they're has nothing to do with these prop firms we're talking about. They're an actual business, and they have real traders and
There are
yeah.
many like this in, I think, in the US and in Europe. There are hundreds of them. I mean, real property, not only one.
Yeah.
It's really hard to access because they are only hiring one trader because it's better. I mean, the transition is really based on quant, or they just
Target
hire
filled.
really old people that they have much experience in the market, I guess.
I just got that CO. Had a loss and then a win there.
Have you ever considered going on a real profit?
Hold on. What was that?
No. Did you ever consider going on a real profit?
A real account?
No, I mean a real profit, like
Oh, a real one. Yeah, I considered it. Like I said, SMB Capital. They're pretty big in New York, and I bought all their stuff. They got a little bit of education and stuff like that, and yeah, I've considered it. I liked it. I actually made some really good trades off of stuff that I kind of learned going through it, but I never had the time, because I had to work. So, yeah, that was my thing. It's just I had a job, right? And I couldn't practice enough to be any good.
yeah,
But I would trade in between, because I used to be a mobile mechanic. Now I just work in a shop. But I'd be laying under a tractor trailer I have two phones, and I'd have two phones out, one with a broker, one with the charts. It would be the middle of winter sometimes, and I'd be out there trading, and sometimes I did well. I mean, but you can imagine it's really hard to. Like I didn't
yeah.
get anywhere, right? But there were times where it was like, yeah, dude, that was a bang on. Like I read the price action right, made some really good trades. Back when the door blew out of the plane in Boeing, I made a couple good trades on that. But yeah, I really like it. It's different, right? Because it's stocks, so they're looking at news, they're looking at catalysts. Um, but yeah, anyways, I've considered it, but I don't know.
I don't like to be
Would
honest.
that feel like a job again though? I think one of the reasons you go to trade is to not have a boss. So if you go to a real prop firm, it's like you're just getting another boss again, and you gotta do your 9 to 5. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, you can use it to build capital again, and
Yeah,
then you
and then
go
move
away.
on.
Yeah, yeah,
I see. Yeah, I do it for a couple of years. I guess it's quicker.
yeah.
I always figured if I was good enough to do that, I might as well just be good enough to stay home and do it for myself.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But if you live, you better live for the lifetime because it will be really hard to take you back again. So you need to build a big amount of capital in order to live because they will not hire you back,
Yes. Yep.
I guess, because your CV.
Here, y'all see, I put it up on my screen. What was it? If I don't know how well y'all actually be able to see that. You know what I'm talking about, but to me, that's sort of like my what I would consider my risk reward. It's set up sort of like a ticket system for Ninja. You know what I mean? So like right there, that would be my total contract. So let's say I was doing ES, you know what I mean, was $12.50 a tick. Okay, how I'm gonna step out is I'm gonna sell out three at a 40 tick uh at a 40 tick uh marker, but my stop is gonna be 20. See what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Well, I don't have my stop out strategy built into this, okay? But I would set my stop out strategy to when I hit those 20 ticks, it's going to bring me up to break even plus, say, however many I need for 5 contracts to hit 200. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So
Yep.
then, so it would sell the bulk of, and I would automatically make. I say that's a 1 to 2 risk reward. So if I hit my 40 ticks, I'll make a made 1,500 bucks
Okay.
off of a risk amount of 750. You know what I mean? But this is the total cost of the trade. In other words, let's say I made no money and it went down and stopped out. That's what I look to lose.
Yeah. 3
Okay.
contracts at 20 ticks.
No, 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 no. Keep
Oh,
in mind, it's 5 contracts together. Remember, you have
I see
three
what's going on. Yep.
take profit goals. You have a take profit right here. That's my first take profit, target one. That's my second take profit, target two. That's my third take profit, target three. So let's say we wanted to even change this. Remember, this is ES, but if I want to come here and let's do MES for $1.25 a tick. Now you're risking 125 bucks. You turn around and you risk $75, but you made 150 on your first. So in other words, when those three sold, you'll mean at your 40 tick profit, 40 tick a marker, you made 150 bucks. You risked 125 altogether on the 5 contracts, but you made 350. Now, keep in mind, this is a 1 to 5 risk on take profit 3. Okay. So that's why you got one contract. That's basically my one runner. Okay. Is it going to hit 100 ticks? Probably not. You know what I mean? So I would turn around and change my stop strategy on that. So that way, essentially, if I walked away from my computer, it'd be maybe like followed by 10 ticks or whatever. But like, in other words, if I was there for this one and this one, you know what I mean, and this
Yeah.
last runner hit, I'll put an auto trail so it would trail, you know what I mean, by say, like I said, maybe 10 ticks or whatever. That way, if I just walked away, either way, I'm gonna make money. If it hits the 100 ticks, I make money. If it goes back and hits my stop, well, I still make money, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. How
That
often do you
way,
hit your target
you're not
one?
quite having to babysit the trade.
Yeah.
Well, that's up to you. I do. But here's the thing, y'all, because especially this first take profit, no matter what, I want to be there the whole time. So you could do a 1 to 1. But come on, the whole idea is you're trying to make money here. You're talking about, but
Yeah.
you can also move those take profits. That way, if I want to flatten everything, just get out. Let's say it goes up, but I feel that this is going to turn against me. I would rather lock in the $100 or whatever. You get my drift. But
Yeah.
to me, at least, this gives you defined goals, see what I mean? Without you having to sit there and where if you just say create a OCO, you know what I mean? A bracket order with, okay, let's say we'll set it for $3,000. Now we're not going to hit that $3,000. That's going to be a way, way off. You know what I'm talking about? Probably even off the chart. But I would rather know I had to go in and adjust it. You know what I mean? And then you set a take profit at say 750 bucks or whatever. Okay, and that way you adjust it. But to me, this makes it more automatic, where the system is sort of doing it for you. Make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, like I said, I have trouble with multiple targets in my mind, so it's good to see it laid out.
That's why I put in the risk to reward ratio, risk to reward breakdown, you know what I mean, and your overall risk to reward. In other words, you're getting a 1.6% return overall. Overall. See what I'm saying? That way, let's say you want to turn around and take the same uh, uh, table and put it into ChatGPT or put it into whatever, you know what I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
Claude or whoever, and say, hey, I would like to improve my overall risk reward to say 3.0. You know what I mean? Well, all it's going to do is go, okay, this is what you got to do. We're going to move this target up to, you know, and this will give you this reward. This will give you this reward, and that will give us an overall of 3. But well, what's your chances of getting that far? You know what I mean? To me, it's very easy to hit your third or fourth or fifth candle and it turn and go back to your pivot point and then
Yeah.
bounce back from there. I would rather know I can account for that to some degree. You see what I'm saying? That's why, especially for this first target, I want to know I'm sitting there, but I want to set my uh, runners like this and this to where they trail. So that way, if and mind you, I do not like to do that. Do not like to do it. But if I have to get up and walk away from the computer, okay, I'm over 50 years old. Sometimes it ain't as simple as let's just hold it. Sometimes you drink a whole lot of coffee and you got to get up
Yeah.
and take care of business. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, but you know, so but you get my drift.
Yeah.
But I tell people something like this to me makes it much easier to understand, and you set yourself up that where if it is a nice long run, you have runners to make more money. Maybe I should put it that way.
Yeah.
So how easy is it to change this? Okay, let's say I wanted to turn around and do 10 contracts just for shits and giggles. Because remember, this is MES, okay? So you could definitely buy more. Okay, so let's turn around, let's change our quantity. Let's do 5 and 3 and 2. And then let's click. Oh, now I got 10 contracts at an overall of 250 bucks. And my total profit, if everything gets hit just the way it should get hit, my overall profit is going to be 725 bucks. So
Oh, okay. And you're risking.
you're risking 250 bucks. So your overall risk reward is still the same as 1.9.
Oh yeah.
Now, keep in mind, I did not change my ticks or anything like that. See what I'm saying? Because normally,
Oh
let's
yeah.
say
Yeah.
MES, I might change this and do say like 40, and that would change this too. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that this number would probably go up. But with something, if look, I don't do the smaller contracts anymore. But for example, like this, you know, to me, you would just what I consider babysit the trade more, if that makes sense. Okay. Because the only thing I'm really worried about moving right off is the 5 1. These are going to, because you're going to have 3 different stop loss. You know, what the, well, you've seen, I'm guessing you've seen the OCO stuff in
Yeah.
InterTrader, you know, so they're just all going to be, because they're all at 20, they're just all going to be piled on top of each other. But the first one's going to be on top. So that's the only one I'm really worried about moving right away, if that makes sense.
Yeah. It does. Do you keep track of like your trades, like your win percentage, or like how often you hit
No,
the target?
not
One,
anymore.
two, three.
Nah.
No.
Well, I mean, because I could
Yeah.
go on like if I wanted, if I want to do it with my fund in the future, you go on there and it's going to show you all of them. I mean,
Oh, they track it for you.
yeah, like you can go on there
Okay.
and it'll show you, oh, okay, you know, this trade you won this much or whatever, or at least they used to. I don't know if they
Yeah.
still do. I'll
I
put it
don't.
that way.
I don't know if Tradeovate does that. There's an app called TradeZell. It's really good. You download your broker statements into it, and it tells you a ton of data. It's pretty cool. But I mean, you pay $40 a month for it. It's maybe not worth it, but it's interesting sometimes to see certain metrics. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I wonder how often you hit. If you can get a one, is it normally 1 to 2 your first target?
It would happen more often than you think because normally you have to realize, y'all, I'm trying to take entries with precision. to,
Yeah,
so like me, a lot of times I ain't gonna say always, probably about 50-50. I'll do limit buy-ins probably as much as I would do a market. But the reason is because I would rather pick my entry in the market, give it to me,
yeah.
than me FOMO and go, oh my God, oh, I had to get in. You know
No,
what I mean? Because let's say you was in ES or those 20 ticks can get hit real quick. Okay.
yeah. And you know what?
Anyway.
Normally, for anybody, when you get in a trade, it always goes negative, usually a little bit. So, you know what? You usually have a chance to get in at a little better price if you're patient. But yeah, I mean, if you know what you're doing, I don't know. Do you know anybody that uses market orders? Like,
Well, I do, don't get me wrong. I mean,
yeah.
but I just automatically with futures, I just automatically count, say, like, for example, 2 tick slippage. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
It's to me, it's what I call a cost of doing business, I reckon. To me, that's just sort of the way it is. Where to me with was it uh options is totally different because to me with options you're pretty much saying what you want to buy in at what you
Yeah.
see what I'm saying.
I'd
You're
market
pretty much saying
options.
exactly. And here's right. I says, and the thing is because something like SPY has got so much
Liquidity.
volatility.
Oh,
Most time it's only be like a penny, like a cent difference, if that. So, well,
yeah.
you get my drift. I mean, like I said, but anyway, like I said, but with futures to me, it's a little different. So I just, or it does not surprise me if I end up with say like, a 2 tick slippage or something silly
Yeah. Look,
on a
like,
market order. And a limit order should pretty much feel right on the money. Yeah, anyway,
they should. Yeah. I mean, most brokers,
yeah.
it's if you don't get filled at that price, and you don't get a fill at all, or better, they'll
Well,
do
if you're
better.
using it, not necessarily if you're using a trade copier, you'll mean a lot of times I've seen not much, but you might have say a couple cent difference. You know what I mean? So that to me is not to me that's nothing more than the time, the small amount of slippage between okay, I set this to the master account and it's going
Yeah.
out to the, you know what I mean?
Yep. I've. You know what? I'm blown away. I think when I had my old computer, I had slippage and stuff because I remember getting different like profits from different accounts. But yeah, I
Hmm.
don't know. Ever since I started using this new computer, I can run. You'd be surprised. I can run 19 accounts and do what I do here in the morning. They'll all be like exactly the same. Exactly, they get filled at exactly the same spot. I know because well, it's still like sim trading, right? So you don't actually need to get it really filled. But yeah, I mean, I've seen them have a bit of lag and you get a different price. But for me right now with the Apex copier, there's not a cent difference. It's crazy.
Oh, really?
I
Yeah,
can't believe it.
back when I had Apex, I had their copier too.
Yeah,
But a lot of times I would see different, but it would major difference. I mean, most time you were talking like maybe 10 cents at the most. It wasn't like
yeah,
it was just, oh my Lord. It was never enough that I thought it was just something crazy. You know what I mean? To me, it was nothing more than just you could tell them the orders are going out
yeah,
at like a fraction of a second difference or whatever.
yeah. And it might be different in live market. Like if I was trading at 9:30 or 9:40. I haven't done that in a while, so I don't know. But at least this time of day, and that's kind of important for the way I trade with like the small targets and stuff. So yeah, I'm surprised to be honest. But yeah, Ninja had these buttons, which was like buy the ask, sell the ask, or buy the bid, sell the bid, and yeah, I got onto those a while ago, and I really like those. It's like a happy medium between like a market order, but you're not just getting in anywhere. You're getting in really close to the price, usually within a couple ticks. So yeah, that's the closest I'll do.
Right.
But even then, sometimes if it's moving fast, you won't get filled.
Yeah, because I didn't know if you did like tiered orders. Well, I don't know what you trade off of, tell you the truth. I guess it's Ninja.
Yeah.
I know weapon side, I know you show those charts, but you know what I mean. Or what you use for execution. I'll put it that way.
This. I use a Dom. Sometimes chart traders, I don't know if you know, but chart traders pretty laggy. Eh? Not, I shouldn't say pretty laggy, but if you compare to the Dom, it's not the same. Yeah, the Dom moves. There's way more orders that happen on the Dom than you'll see on the chart. So if it's like fast moving and you're trying to use chart trader, you'd be slow. You'd be behind. But yeah, I only use Ninja to trade. I don't know. It's the platform I like most. I've used lots of platforms too, but it's just what I find it simple. I find Ninja Trader simple. I used Thinkorswim for a little bit, a long time ago, and I just couldn't get it. I just felt like I was always searching for how to do this, how to do that, and
Well, and that's the thing, dude.
it's
What was
just
it? I
hard.
tell people, I said, once you learn it, you know
Yeah,
what I mean? Like, dude, there was probably two or three different times where I went and bought TradingView, but I would always go back to Thinkorswim because I just knew that. See what I'm saying?
yeah,
But when Schwab bought them out, I just didn't really know what would happen with the Thinkorswim platform. So I was like, no, I just need a dedicated charting service. You know what I mean? That's all they do. So that was the whole reason why I come here to TradingView. So,
So does is Tom Sosnoff still involved in Thinkorswim, or he's totally out of it?
dude, don't even get me to lie to you. I don't have a clue. I
Oh,
don't
okay.
follow any of that stuff anymore.
Because I know he's got like another thing called Tasty Trade, so makes me wonder if he had to sign some contract. And now it's been 10 or 15 years, and he started another platform.
Right.
I don't know, but do you ever watch those guys? They have like podcasts on YouTube and stuff. Tom and his buddy Steve there.
No, I don't.
Oh, okay.
Dude, that's just like I was. When I left Apex for like a month, I went to Top Step, and I used to tell people, I said that's what I could click on the don't send me any notifications but yet every morning I'd get that, you know, oh, watch Top Step TV, watch your coach, blah, blah, blah. This,
Top Step TV.
I was like, guess what? I don't give a damn about the coach. I don't give a, I think I watched one because they had so many people come from Apex. They was running into problems. You know what I mean?
Really?
For like a month or two. Yes, because they was not ready for that influx of people. That's what it really boiled down to.
Oh yeah.
But because of that, and because I was seeing so much negative stuff on the Discord, it made me a little hesitant. You know what I mean? So that was whenever I said, no, forget it. Now I just switched over to my funded futures. And I've just been there ever since. So, because from what I could see, because I didn't leave their Discord right off, because that's why I said I watched one, and that was why, because the CEO came on, and what I mean, he said that he was addressing that stuff in one of the whole little, Top Step TV deals. You know what I mean? And he that's what he said. He was just like, look, we was not expecting that level of people. We were not equipped to deal with that level of people. So he was just like, look, we're bringing on more servers, we're bringing on more people. But he was just like, this don't happen a day. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
he gave a date and he was like, I figured by this, and it was like a month out or maybe 2 months out. And everything I seen in their Discord, yeah, they solved all the problems. You're talking about, I mean, like I say, it's just so I'll probably jump the gun too quickly on that. Don't talk much, but it is what it is. So
What's Top Step TV? Is it just people streaming basically?
just people stream it, dude. Well,
Yeah.
because to me, what they do is offer a whole service. They have coaches on there. You can go there and follow them, and you can pay them to coach you and all kinds of stupid
Oh
junk. You
yeah.
know what I mean? To me, it's just they're offering a whole service, just like you get what I mean. Well, just like I always told people, I said, guess what? Those coaches still pop accounts. Okay. I'm sure they're getting those accounts given them to them for free. Okay. Because they are part of Top Step. Okay.
Yeah.
I said, so do you think that, or this is just my thought, would they not be incentivized to possibly take a wrong trade and pop an account and you follow them and take that wrong trade because you're going to be buying an account? They probably
Yeah.
aren't.
Yeah. If there's 500 people following them,
Exactly.
wow.
See
Yeah.
what I mean?
There's
So
more money. Yeah.
there you go. I mean, yeah,
I see.
you know,
Business is
and that's
dirty.
just my thought.
Yeah.
That's
Well.
just my thought. Because mind you, the guy could probably brag about how he made 100 grand last year or whatever. But let's say once every, month or 3 months or whatever, somebody from Top Set says, hey, we need a little more funds coming in. Yeah, could you pop one? You know what I'm talking about? I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah. We got some
do you
payouts to
honestly,
make.
right? I mean, for no more often than what it happens. See what I'm saying? Do you
Yeah.
honestly think people would go? Because I've seen them on there going, "Oh, it was just a bad day." You know, I, I could see if it was a bad day and he was not associated with Top Step at all. But come on, he's on their platform. You know what I mean? Anyway, so it is what it is.
Yeah.
Order submitted. Order filled.
Yeah, I don't know if y'all are interested or not, but if you want to, I can give you access to that spreadsheet. Um, that's y'all's call. I really don't care.
That'd be interesting. Um. So I never really got into Excel. That's a Google one though, right? That's not.
Yeah, the Google ones you can share easily. You know
How
what I'm talking about?
I'm interested to figure out how you code it because you've obviously coded it in there. You switched it to MES and it knows the tick value,
Well,
right?
because all it is it's a drop down menu. I mean, it's not like that's that. You just basically put a formula in. So in other
Yeah.
words, like if you turn around and click on the B2 box where it says tick value, all you have is a formula that just says switch, and it's going to say, okay, A1, if MES shows up, it's this much, this much. If ES shows up, it's this much. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like it's super complicated, as much as you would think. In
Okay.
fact, dude, honestly, if you even now, mind you, I was doing some of this. I'm not very good. I'll admit I'm not very good, but I was doing some of this before all the AI stuff come out. You know what I'm talking about, But now it's quite literally got to the point where you can take a picture of the freaking table, upload it to. I know you can do it to Claude, but I don't know if you can do it with. I'm not sure if you can do it with GPT or not.
Yeah.
But because I've done it quite a ways back. Because one time I was asking about a formula, just to make sure a formula's right,
Order
and you
filled.
can just say, okay, in this cell, E so and so,
Or
if I change this and I want this outcome, what would the formula be? Well, guess what? You put that formula, it will give you the formula, and you put that formula in, and you just copy that formula down, because all that's going to happen is you copy the formula down because you're going straight down. Like your target tick is 40, you know what I mean? And you say, okay, based on and you just tell it, so okay, based on the risk to reward ratio in the G column, blah blah blah, in these cells, and I'm trying to find this,
order
in the E column in these cells, and it's going to be based on, you know, you get my drift.
Yeah.
The number of stop ticks, blah blah blah, that's in this column, and it'll say, okay, here's your, well, the way this and even at sale is set up to work is when you put in that first initial formula, you can turn around and it'll throw a little something at the bottom of the right hand box, and you just copy it down. Okay, not anyway.
Okay. Yeah. I guess if you learn a little bit, it becomes easier. Yeah. Throw it up. How do you? Can you just share it in the chat? I'd pull that up.
Just DM me and give me your Gmail address, and I can just
Oh
put
yeah.
you. That's all.
Okay. Yeah.
If you have a Gmail address.
Yep. I got Gmail. Yeah. Couple. Coffeemaker@gmail.com.
There you go. I see it.
I gotta change it because yeah, like you said, you don't know
Hey,
what
I
to
just
call
thought it
me.
was funny. I thought it was funny. I was like, what?
What did you just say? Might as well change my name too. What was that?
Oh no, I was joking, because I remember I was looking at it and it had like what rockets and stars and stuff.
Yeah,
So that's what I put in chart. I was like, they change a Rocket Man or Star Lord or something.
the Star Lord.
I,
Yeah,
yeah, I was just being stupid.
I actually like Rocket Man
Well, I can't remember if it used rockets or not. I remember it used stars
though.
because
Oh,
I
okay,
remember
yeah.
looking at it, but I couldn't remember if it used rockets or not. But I just put that stuff in, just being silly.
Your Master in Chief made a funny joke a long time ago about calling that Asian guy Rocket Man. You remember that?
Yeah. I know.
Yeah, I know.
I got the beer button. Blah blah blah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I tell people they need to take his Twitter account away.
It's just so it's stupid. It shouldn't be entertaining.
Actually, they took his whole Twitter account away, and he bought another platform just
Yeah,
so he can make a Twitter account. Before Musk bought it, you know what I mean?
yeah,
That was the old Twitter.
Well, when being the center of attention is the most important thing, you do.
Did you see? Was you around whenever he bought that company? Did you see what it did to the stock price?
When Elon bought Twitter
No,
or
no, no, no. I'm talking about when Trump bought
social?
the company he bought.
No, I
No,
guess
it
it
was
didn't really. They have their own
okay.
stock, don't they, or no?
Yeah, well, I'm not sure if they still do, but they did then. But back
Okay.
when there was a company that basically did what Twitter did. You know what I mean? And I can't remember the name of the platform, but it was already there. So what he did was he went in and bought that company. And I want to say the stock was running around, maybe, was it $10 or $20? It was something like that. But when the news broke that he was going to buy that company and turn it into True Social, you know what I mean? It went up to, I think, almost like $150 overnight. I mean, it
Holy
just
shit.
it just skyrocketed.
I bet you he made. I bet
It,
you
it
he
now
had.
I don't know what it was it what is it, because he went in and bought control and interest and he took the company over, but now I don't know what it is now. I can't even remember what the sign was. You know what I'm talking about? I watched it
60 or
that day though.
it's
I mean, because
DJT.
when he bought it, you know what I mean, that I mean, because it literally went from trading at, like I said, I won't say it was like maybe somewhere between 10 to $20. I can't remember what it was, because that was quite a while back. But the next day, it just slowly, I mean, it just went up, steadily went up all day next day. So I want to say around maybe about 120 or something like that, or maybe 150 before it started dropping and come back down. And I don't know what it's worth now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, makes sense to me. That to me. That's a good bet.
I thought it was so funny. I was just
Yeah.
like, oh my Lord.
And he said he wasn't gonna go back to Twitter, but now.
Well, dude, come on. The only reason people went to True Social was because he was there. You can say what you want, but he brought people that were conservative and blah, 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 all kind of stuff,
Yeah.
and Trump supporters. I mean, that was the whole reason it got to where it got. I says, but it would never be their platform. That, to me, there's some things that just, come on, you're never going. That's why, to me, I think it's funny when people talk about Bitcoin. I'm not saying Bitcoin won't be worth something, but come on, let's face it, none of them are ever really, or to me, going to be worth what Bitcoin itself is worth. I mean, none of the other coins, for the simple reason is, to me, they will never probably ever be as widely adopted. And that's going to be what determines, its true value. Anyway,
Yeah. It's funny. This guy, he's so entertaining. I can't believe it. Guys probably made me that guy. He's probably made me laugh more in the last like 10 years than anybody else, any comedian. Just we're gonna change it to the Gulf of America. Oh. Well, I did all right today. I got my trades. I know we were just chatting there, and I ended up getting them. So, a little better day than yesterday.
Mhm.
I finally decided to change my target, so I've been looking at it for a long time. And instead of 5 ticks, I'm moving it to 6 now. And yeah, it's just real like regular market hours.
mm-hmm.
I might not do that just because when these trades set up, they have a tendency to keep going. But I'm finding over the last long while that more times than not, it tends to be a little reversal. At least the time of day that I'm trading, and there's just a lot more on the table. I didn't want to change things too quickly, so I stuck with it for a long time. But that's it. I'm just gonna move my target 1 tick. So instead of 5, it's 6, which seems insignificant, but if you do the math, 7 ticks is 40% bigger than 5 ticks. So my losses are 40% bigger. But if you do 6 ticks, my losses are only 16% bigger. So it's a huge drop in my, the difference between my wins and my losses. And I noticed that it's not going to, like once in a blue moon, I'm going to miss my target. That I would have got 5, not 6, but it's not enough to skew that, 40, 30, yeah, it's like a 25% bump in the risk reward. So that's what I'm going to do.
a big difference.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've been watching it, but once I did the math, I got the calculator out. I knew it was 40%, but I did it on the calculator, and I was thinking, oh, I might drop it down to like 30%. Man, oh, I dropped it right down to 16. Like that changes a lot. One tick.
I don't have an opinion on that, but I can see.
Yeah.
I can get it.
Oh, yeah, it was kind of a weird trading day. I don't know. It was so slow this morning. I was a little bit hesitant taking some of these setups, but
I was about to sleep.
yeah, and it was really like the
So, yeah.
RTY. I was in this RTY here, so I got in. I think on this one because I had 4 tick drawdown, almost hit my stop, and then it just messed around and look at the gap like 1, 2, 3, 4 tick gap. That's just the way it is pre-market. Sometimes it's thin, but usually it works out in my favor. These gaps. So yeah, what day are we on? Wednesday here.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, Monday was good. Yeah. So, I mean, I got my +3 every day this week so far, but Monday we got 16 ticks. Yesterday, basically flat. I guess I got 6. I started changing my targets at the end of the day yesterday. At the end of the session.
Mhm.
Yeah, let's all file save. Yeah, that's normal week. A good day, choppy day, decent day. I ain't looking to make $1,000,000 here.
Wow.
All right.
You aren't gonna make it in the end.
I'm just looking to spend enough years losing money. I got to a point where I was like, you know what, if I could just trade and not lose money, that would be an accomplishment. So there was a time when I was doing that, and it's like, well, at least I get to trade. And then you just get better and better. And it's like, oh, I actually can make a couple bucks doing this. But whatever.
Well, to me, when you're new, the whole system's set up just to tear retail up. You
Oh
can say
yeah.
what you want, but I tell people until you actually really learn, because most people jump in thinking they have an idea and they don't. I tell people, I said, any job you have has a system. You know what I mean? And most people jump in with no system, no nothing. It just,
They wanna reinvent the wheel.
Yeah, sometimes they overcomplicate it too, but you know, but you're right. It's one of those jobs where there's no straight path to like becoming successful. You can't just go learn from somebody because it's like a little money machine. You know what I mean? People don't give it away necessarily. If you want to go be an engineer or you want to go be whatever a mechanic, for me, it's pretty straightforward. You go work in a shop, you go to school, you learn, you buy tools, you do that for a couple, 3, 4, 5 years, and now you're a mechanic. There's no like all you got to do is show up to work and do it. Where trading, you don't know what you're supposed to be doing. You can't show up and say I need to
well,
do this.
yes, I agree with you, but to me, also in a point where, like, even a mechanic, I've seen times where at a shop, for example, like whenever I was driving Freightliners, where Somebody might go in and one mechanic can get to a part and the other guys go, no, 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 you should take this panel off first.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know what I mean? To make it easier. And the guy's like, no, no, I don't have to. You know what I mean? You know, I tell people, I say, guess what? You're going about doing the same thing. You're just doing it a different way. So
yeah,
to me, it's no different here. I say you just have to find the system that works for you. I mean,
yeah. But it's also like being in the shop, like you were just talking about, and then having a bunch of people that don't know how to fix things telling you, "Oh, do it this way, do it that way."
yeah, well, I mean, to me,
Like YouTube,
like that's what. Because the only reason I say this because I actually seen that once. It was an older cat, and he was like, "Wait, are you joking? I can just get up under there and take it off in like 5 minutes." You know what I'm talking about? You where and I know what it was. It was a new guy, and he was doing it the way he was taught how to do it. No, let's take off this plastic panel. You know what I mean? You know, and then that way we'll have
Yeah,
access to. I know what he was doing. There's nothing wrong with that. He was doing it the way he got taught to do it. But that's what that old cat was just like, man, what you're talking about is going to take like an extra 20 minutes or 30 minutes or where he's like, I can just literally roll up under the thing and take the part off and be done in 5 minutes. You know, just, I remember thinking it was so funny, you know, just anyway.
yeah. It's like that a lot of times.
I knew just what the old cat was talking about. 'Cause back, sure enough, back in the day when I first started, when the companies were buying the trucks, you know, like if you had a starter go out or because I'm sure you see that a lot, you know, 'cause I tell people like a AC, what you call it, uh, it might last. You know what I mean? Was it AC clutch might last 30,000 miles? It might last 75,000 miles. You know what I mean? They're
Yeah.
gonna burn out. You know, I mean, I tell you, what, I got to the point where, you know, it seemed like, especially with me miles you was putting on a truck, as much as you left that thing just running back then, you know, because there wasn't no optimized idle and stuff like that and everything. You know, I tell people, I says, hey, you know, I got to the point where I'll be changing them bad boys out on a regular all by myself, you know, but back then, the company didn't care as long as you just send a receipt, you know, saying, "Hey, see here, I bought this part." They'd pay
Oh
you
yeah.
back. You know, what I'm talking about, you know. But it was very different because that was before stuff was leased, and you know, and now Freightliner's like, you know, when the lease stuff come out, it's like Freightliner goes, "Okay, nobody should do the work but us or your own shop." That's it. You know what I mean? Well, and all kind of stuff, everything. And just anyway.
Yeah,
'Cause I
because you
tell
gotta.
people I only made money when the wheels was turning, so there was more incentive to me to just want to take the part off. And
Yeah. Were
anyway,
you like a broker, owner, operator, or?
no, no, no. I always work for companies. I
Okay.
always
Yeah.
work for companies. Dude, I wanted to become an owner operator, but I spoke with the same way I would right here. It's like I want same way I'm talking to you, wanting to learn new things and just say, hey, let me look at what I spoke with owner operators. But dude, if you want to know the truth about it, I'm sure you have been there too and heard them say, I would honestly believe every one of them, and they're probably telling the truth. Talking about how, oh, I made this much money last year, blah, blah. Well, you know, you might get one out of say every 10 or 20 that would tell you the truth. And they go, most time that guy would tell me, hey, if you're happy doing what you do for your company, do it. Stay there and do it. He said, because guess what? I'm making really probably the same amount you're making. You know what I mean? It's just the only thing is now when you have a flat, you just call your company and they fix it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He says, well, I have a flat, you know, because yes, I could brag to you about how I'm making this much money a year, but he says, guess what? I also have $1,000 something payment I have to make on my truck. I also have, you know, this much. He said, by the time you take out everything I had to take out, you know, he says, let's say a steer tire goes down. That's back then that was 300 something bucks. I don't know what it costs now, you know.
Thousands.
Well, well, there you go. You
Probably.
know what I mean, which back then that was a lot of money, you know, but I'm just saying, you know, he basically was just like, if you really boil it down, by the time you have to take out all my expenses and my taxes, he said, am I coming out a little bit better than you? He said, yeah, I might be coming out a little bit better than you. He said, but is it enough to say you get my drift? I mean, but
Yeah.
mind you, that this is usually somebody that has like one truck. Now, if you're talking to somebody that has, you know, several trucks, that starts getting a little different, but still.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, it can go both ways. I've seen guys with just like farmers. Back when I was working in Ontario, they had like maybe 5 like Peterbilts, like the cool ones with the long nose and
Yeah.
whatever. And
Or at least back then, and mind you, I don't know about now, but back then, to me, the ones that were more apt to tell you the truth worked for Landstar Ranger because they would get paid so much per mile for that trip. So in other words, those guys usually would say, "Hey, I cannot afford to move my truck unless I'm making this.
yeah,
Otherwise, I am losing money." Because usually they knew their expenses and exactly how much they paid out and all that kind of stupid junk.
yeah, but you never know. I've seen these guys blow an engine, and they're $30,000 one month to get this engine rebuilt, and then another truck, same thing. The transmission and rear end went out in like a month and a half, and the guy was complaining, saying like, if I knew it was going to be like this, I just would have bought new trucks, or I just would have leased them or something, right? So you never know what you're getting into
Right,
as far
right.
as maintenance. And then nowadays, like, how long has it been since you were doing truck? Has it been a little while?
When I got out, it was back when the ELD stuff was just
Oh,
starting. When I got out, there was no, let's put up a camera and watch everybody. You know, Dude, back then, I tell people like I worked KLM for quite a long time, and that's we should work with JB Hunt. Now, KLM, I always told people was very, very easy going. Let me put it that way. As long as you made them money, they really didn't too much damn what you did. You know, um, so I told people, I said, like the first 2 years, I was very young. I treated it just like it was a vacation. So like I would stay out and run, especially during the height of produce season. I might run, say, 4, 5, 6 weeks straight. You know, I said and make real good money. But what I would do is just tell them, say, hey, I want to go to California, take my time off. Well, they'd let you take the truck because they would have was it they had a drop yard out there. You know what I'm talking about? You could, if you want to just go drive around the truck, you could drive. I mean, they tell
yeah,
you, okay, if you have a wreck, you know what's going to happen. You know what I mean? You know what I mean. But they was just like, so it'd be like, officially, you are not supposed to go anywhere in that truck. So if you have a wreck, they would just tell you that. And even then, if something, I never had anything happen, thankfully. But I had cats tell me that even if something did happen, if you're talking about something just relatively silly, a lot of times the company would just say, I forget. He makes more money in the long run that it's not worth it to, you know, get him in trouble over
yeah,
something that's a $300 fix or whatever. You get my drift.
yeah.
You know,
And it would probably break anyways, even though, you know what I mean?
right? I mean, so,
If it was ready to
back
break.
then things were so like anyway. So it wouldn't that like that first 2 years. I just treated it as a big vacation. So I went to even if they didn't have you just like get down in Florida and you somewhere close to Miami, you just say, hey man, I want to go ahead and take my a week off or whatever here, But KLM would only let the truck. They only wanted the truck to sit for 7 days. After that, they said they're losing money on it. They need to put another driver in it. JB Hunt essentially you slip seated, so. You know what I mean? They said after the truck set for, I think, so that was the only problem I didn't like with JB Hunt. Basically, every time I come in, you either had to clean the truck out or I think after 2 days, you lost it. You know what I mean? So if you left your stuff in it, which most time I did not leave my stuff in because even if KLM was pretty good about if you left your truck there, they wouldn't let nobody in it. But like JB Hunt, oh no, if they need that truck just to run
Order
something
submitted.
locally, so you might come
Order
back, something
submitted.
gone out your truck. You know what I mean? Just silly stuff like that. You just learn.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, no.
Order
I mean, to
canceled.
me, they looked at truck as theirs, not you had no. You know what I mean? But anyway, so that's why, like, when I was with JB Hunt,
Order
I basically
filled.
looked at it as a slipsy job. So I didn't stay out. I think they required you to stay out maybe 14 days, and you got a day off for every, But essentially, because I was going to clean the truck out anyway, if I want to take 4 days off, guess what? Wouldn't like it was, with KLM, it's like, okay, we're going to give you, 7 days. That's like a day for a week. But I tell people I had plenty of time off. Most time you were
yeah,
just off somewhere else. You wouldn't at home. Um, but so that's why, and even with KLM, like, if you had to, sometimes you tell them, hey, can you spot me an extra day or whatever. You found some chick you want to hang out with or something like that. Just they were pretty good about doing that. So you might end up being off like 8 days or whatever.
That's pretty good.
I mean,
Yeah.
right. Well, and I tell you, back then it was more. Yes, we had computers. I ain't saying we didn't have computers. You know what I'm talking about? I mean, because all my stuff got sent to me over Qualcomm. But I tell people, I say, you have to realize that pad was as large as a sheet of paper, and the output screen was quite literally like one line or two lines, you know what I mean? And maybe as long as my hand. I mean, you did a lot of scrolling through, and basically all the, but they got charged for every single message they sent you. So it added up to be a lot of money. You know what I mean? I said,
Oh, yeah.
so basically it was like, okay, this is the address for the shipper. This is the address for the receiver. You know what I mean? And they might send you, say, what was it? Uh, a route plan. You know what I mean? And that was pretty much it. And even then, you could pretty much take wherever, as long as you got there by the time you were supposed to deliver, they didn't too much give a, you know, how
Yeah.
you went. If you really want to get down, because they were just basically saying, hey, look, this
Stop.
is all we're paying for. These many miles that's on this route plan. So anyway,
That's all right. So you got to see. You just did the U.S. It would have been nice to see and travel around, driving
well, I
through.
went into Canada too. You know what I mean? But
Oh yeah.
other than that, I tell people I loved it up in Canada. To me, it was beautiful, especially the women. I tell people, I said,
Yeah.
you know. But I mean, I just realized that. But most of the places you went, that was the only reason why I knew about the exchange rate, because most of the places you went, um, most of them would they would take the US cash, but they would pay you back in Canadian. You're talking about,
Order
so when
submitted.
I crossed, if you didn't
Order
stop
target
somewhere to
filled.
have, and most time for no more than what I had, I didn't worry about changing it back out. You're talking about, um, what was it? So I would just keep, because I knew I was going back up there sooner or later. You know what I'm talking about? But thing
Yeah.
was, they didn't. Most of those mom and pop places or truck stops, they wouldn't honor the exchange rate. So in other words, yeah, you might give them U.S. cash, but they was going to treat it just like it was Canadian. Maybe I
Yeah.
should put it that way.
Exactly. So you get
You know what I'm
ripped
saying?
off,
So,
kind of. Yeah.
well, I mean, to me, for no more what the exchange rate was, it wouldn't like it was that big a deal, because you got to realize I
No.
wasn't going up there and staying up for weeks. I mean, I was only going up there, and, I was really just going up there,
Yeah.
dropping a load. And so most time you was going up there and you would be back across the line within, say, 3 days,
Yeah.
something silly
Plus,
like that.
they
I
would
mean,
have to do the exchange if they wanted to put it into their bank or whatever too. So they'd have to go through that effort. So it was
right. The
just
only thing it was like I tell people, if you went to ATM and you got cash, they would honor the exchange rate. So in other words, what came out of my account would be what would, see what I'm saying? I would get
yeah.
the Canadian amount, but I would only have whatever the amount was supposed to be for the US side. That was the only time to me really. But as far as did I ever end up with a whole lot of extra, no, I wasn't that big a deal.
Where did you go in Canada? Like kind of everywhere, or certain places you'd go more
I've pretty
often?
much been in all of the provinces, but the main two I went to the most. That was why I said I remember there's one province where French come first and English was second, because all other provinces were the other
Quebec.
way. I said because the main two you went to was those two. You know what I mean? You went to that one, and
Quebec and
there was one
Ontario.
sitting right beside it, because they had so much industry. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where I think like what is the
Order
British
submitted.
Columbia? I think it is, or whatever. To
West
me, that
Coast.
was
Yeah.
more mountainous and more woods and things like that. You know what I'm talking about? I think I only went there like once, and there's another one I want to say that's like right up above like Washington State. And I think I only went to that one maybe once. I can't remember.
Alberta. Yeah, that's right.
Most of the ones that I went to was always those two, because to me
Order
those two were
canceled.
more, and this is just the way I took it, the more populated and had more industry. Maybe I should put
Yeah.
it that way, because that's what you usually going to do. You going to drop something off or pick something up. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. When you go to French land there, that's like the capital of Canada. Ottawa's
yeah,
there.
Yeah.
and then Ontario is the one beside it. So those
That's
are
why that same guy I was telling you about Duke. You know what I mean? I said because asked him, I was like, dude, I says I'd go up to that province because you have to realize some of those places would be sort of out in the country, you
yeah.
know. And I told him, I says, are those guys playing with me? I said, I never really asked, but I want to ask somebody that's Canadian, okay? Because I said, keep in mind now, I'm in Mississippi. Jackson is the state capital, but there's towns around Jackson. So in other words, let's say a town like Clinton. You can grow up in Clinton. You can live in Clinton. You can go to school in Clinton. You can go to college in Clinton and never leave Clinton. You know what I mean? So somebody
Yeah.
like that can really tell you where to go in Jackson if you're saying, hey, I need directions for this. Because you have to look at, even though it's a smaller state, that is a very large metropolitan area for this small of a state. Maybe I should put it that way. You know what I mean? I said, well, I told him, I said, dude, I said, to me, I says, there was times where, let's say I go out in the boonies somewhere and you was going to pick something up. I said, you walk in there and that dude be speaking French to me or Canadian French or whatever. You know, and I was like, I did not have the first, I told myself the only real word I knew was toilet. I said, because that was the only thing, that was the main thing you learned to ask for. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I said, and I didn't know if he was really messing with me or, you know,
What
and he's like,
the
most of them can. He said, but you'll be surprised. He says, yes, some of them are, you know, because I was like, I get some people, you know, they grow up right there, they stay right there, they have no need to, you know what I mean? Just,
yeah.
and he was like, no, he says, he said, they were probably legit. He said, you don't run to that too much anymore. But anyway.
That he only spoke French.
Well, sometimes those people were, and mind you, you gotta realize I was going to factories to pick stuff up. So most of the time, those were medial jobs. It wasn't like they were super high paying jobs. Okay,
Yeah.
you know. So
Yeah. There's a lot more English speakers now, like in the French areas.
yeah, and I tell you, you gotta remember that was way back like
Yeah.
'90s. You know what I mean? That was wholly different time. That was for internet. That was for cell phones. Just
But
anyway.
yeah, I mean, I've met some older fellas and stuff that just don't speak any English, and they're from Canada and everything. They're just like, I don't know. There's it's funny in Quebec. These French guys are crazy. Eh? They do a truck rodeo. Have you ever heard of it? Probably
No, I
not.
won't get so. No.
So basically, there's this small little town on the Ottawa River, like north,
Hmm.
up, not north Quebec, but up there. And there's a hill in this small town. The town's probably got, I don't know, I'd be surprised if it had 500 people. And for whatever reason, the story is that way back in the day, these two French guys got drunk and they decided to race their transport trucks up this
Target
hill.
filled.
And first one to win, or first one to get up this hill, has to buy the other guy a case of beer. And that's the story. And now it's turned into an annual event where they go and they race trucks up the hill. Maybe you've seen videos. They got 2 trailers loaded with wood, and they'll put like 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 horsepower in these trucks, and the whole front end will come right up off the ground. And they race, and they do it all weekend. They race up this hill. Black smoke everywhere. You can't see the crowd on the other side of the road. It's insane. So, yeah, I really enjoy that. So that's a lot of fun. But yeah, they're crazy. Like, when they take off from the stand, they're drag racing, right? When they take off, both front wheels, some of them will come right up off the ground. And they're skipping 2 gears at a time because you can't. They got so much power, they don't need like all 18 gears, right? So they'll do start in second and go to fourth or something like that. And yeah, it's wild. And then they have like a little. They do music too, or whatever. A couple bands play at night, and yeah. But yeah, so and there's a truck show. There's a lot of really nice trucks there too, like real nice. And that's where I met some of these older French guys, and yeah, like some of them legitimately don't speak. I'm surprised, but it is how it is. Like you say, you grow up in the country in your small town. Everybody speaks French.
Yeah, nobody really has
Yeah,
because I tell you back then it was still common to have some factories where have been there forever and a day, and somebody
yeah,
thinks, okay, I'm gonna work here till I retire. You know what I mean? Now, no, that's not, you know. But anyway,
yeah, which is fine. I mean, to each their own, but yeah.
Yeah, that's what, because I remember I just asked him, I was like, dude, were those guys messing with me? He was like, no, they were probably legit. He was like, he was like, no, 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 it was probably that way.
Yeah. The French people are a little bit more serious too. They're they're good. That's good. I've been to. My grandparents used to go to Florida every year. They would go to Panama City Beach, and they stayed in a little. It was like a little motel, I call it. They called it a little condo. They would
Hmm.
go around the end of November, come back just before spring break in March, and yeah, I mean we drove down there. Been down there a couple times with them. And one year we went down into Florida a little more. I went to Kissimmee and went to, I don't know, is it Universal Studios or I don't know what's
Yeah,
Disney or
I know what you're talking about.
yeah, whatever. Yeah, so we went there. We drove down to Florida though, and that's really the only kind of place I've been in America. To be honest, I have a good friend, a childhood friend. I went to kindergarten with him. He lives in Arizona now. He met a woman and moved on down there. So,
Yeah, dude, the
uh,
only thing I thought was funny, I remember back when I went up there, I tell people, I said, I think Texas must be the only southern state anybody knows. I said, because it used to tickle me. I go up there and I start talking, and the first thing I hear is, oh, you're from Texas. I'll be like, no, I'm not from Texas. You know what I'm talking about? I was like, no.
well,
But
yeah,
that'd be the first thing oh, you're from Texas. You're from Texas, huh?
yeah. Well, that's it. So, if you're a Canadian and like on the same topic, so you're either a New Yorker because you got the New York accent, or you're just normal because you really don't have an accent, or you're from Texas because you got the Southern accent.
I just
That's it.
always remember thinking that was so funny. I
Yeah.
just And then what was bad was, like, I don't know if you ever seen the old stuff on Elvis. Back then, I was bad about growing my sideburns low because
Oh
that was
yeah.
a style. So then the next thing would be, they would ask me if I was an Elvis impersonator, and I was like, I didn't think they were that big. You know what I mean? I was like, no, no, okay, no, I'm not an Elvis impersonator, okay? I mean, I would just
Oh
grow 'em. I mean, they stay pretty tight. I mean, his come way out onto his cheek.
yeah,
Mine was
yeah.
just like a little line that went down sort of kind of to the bottom of your ear, I guess you could say. You know, I mean, and I wasn't like I let them get all bushy. That's what guys be, that's what they'd be like, ask me something about Elvis, and I was like, what the hell is this coming from?
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, it's funny that the experiences you get, like traveling around and meeting people and
That's what, yeah,
doing stuff,
exactly.
right?
Just, yeah. I always thought it was, yeah.
You know, some people that just yeah are naive, like they don't really know geography very well, and others are different. But it's funny; those interactions are pretty funny. I like them.